my name is Valérian Desterne. I live in south of France, in Villeneuve-les-Avignon, and I studied animation. At first, animation, 2D animation and stop motion animation. Then also 3D CG animation in a school which is named MOPA, it's Motion Pictures in Arles, because the city is named Arles in the south of France. And yeah, I did 3 years there to learn CG and animation 3D. And then my last year, I spent my last year at the school to make this movie After the Rain with my teammates. It was a great adventure.
Question: what is a good memory from the production of this film that you would like to share?
There was, it was a lot of pain and a lot of joy. I think the best memory I have is, when I went to the museum. It's a museum in south of France, in Marseille. It's a museum for European and Mediterranean civilization. And we went for documentation. We went in this museum, but not just in the museum, but in the reserves of the museum. And a really kind person introduced the team into this place. And this place is not open to the public. It's where all the precious items are stocked in big shelves. They have to use wheels to open the shelves.
Oh,
it's
wow.
like it's like being in the movie, and it was really incredible. And he opened these big shelves, he opened the cases, and then he had to wear gloves to take off some really precious things. And he showed us, and we could even touch some old handcrafted things that were handcrafted by shepherds a long time ago. And we saw like really beautiful things like shepherd staff with some sculpting on it. Really things that we even didn't know it could exist, like little instruments they built themselves and used to make some music when they are alone on the mountains, on the hill. And it helps us to take to put ourselves in the place.
Are there any effects in the film that are meaningful to like the plot, like such as like sounds or like filters and saturation and all that kind of stuff?
This question is fun because I hope that all the effects in the movies, I hope that they are meaningful.
Yeah.
Because when you do animation, as I said previously, everything is done from scratch. You have to invent everything to create everything. So when you create something, you always have to ask yourself, why I create this, and is it really useful for the story, for the plot, or isn't? Or if it isn't, you don't do this, you don't create this, you don't use this effect. So yeah, I hope that everything in the movie has its own purpose. But it's right that there are some things in the movie which are particularly maybe symbolic, like in terms of shapes and designs. Things were made in order to have some similarity, like between characters and environment. For example, the beard of the shepherd looks like a cloud.
Yeah.
So the texture of the clouds is looking like more like a cloud. No, the texture of the wool is looking like clouds, because it helps to think that when you see the ships for the first time, you can think that you see just clouds. So you, from the beginning of the story, you are into poetic registry, and yeah, it was something really important. Really happy with this work. And also the music is built around themes, and these themes are cyclical. So it's also evokes the cyclical of the story, because the story
Mhm.
also is made up with this construction, and the sound, the music also is made up with this kind of yeah, construction. So it was made with all that in mind.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I noticed that in the film, like, how it was, like, morning, and then it's, like, it went through the day, and then, like, the next day, the problem was kinda resolved with, like, the dog, like, just on the roof, like, after the problem was solved and everything like that. I noticed that. I thought that was cool. Kinda like a new
There
day,
is
like
a thing
hmm?
I don't know if you noticed it, because it's maybe it's not really visible, but there is a detail which is supposed to prepare the watcher about the end of the story, where all the shepherds are sheared by the brambles down the
Mhm.
hill. Is the fact that the shepherd staff, there is fixed on it some brambles, so it's
Oh.
part of the design of the stuff. So it's supposed to help the watcher maybe have in mind that, oh, I've seen this thing. This is not. It's, yeah, it sounds logical at